The Ritual, which is now showing in cinemas, is yet another example of arguably the most uninspired horror concept of them all, the exorcism. Not that it can't ever work, but whether it's comedy, found footage, or straight up drama, most exorcism films follow the same tired structure and tropes, told slightly differently but never enough to feel fresh, leaving them derivative, predictable, and worst of all, boring. Unfortunately, The Ritual doesn't buck that trend, for the film, directed and co-written by David Middle, is a tired retread of nearly every exorcism trope imaginable, wrapped in abysmal filmmaking that makes a dull experience feel almost unbearable. Set in 1928, The Ritual dramatizes one of the most famous alleged demonic possession cases, that of Emma Schmidt, played by Abigail Cowan, a young woman brought to the church of Dan Stevens' father Joseph Steiger for a series of exorcisms, conducted by aging exorcist Father Theophilus Reisinger, who's Al Pacino, who works hard to save Emma's soul before it's lost forever. If that plot sounds like every other exorcism movie you've ever seen, you're not wrong, for The Ritual indulges in all the familiar tropes, like priests in crisis, the possessed spewing vulgarities, endless chanting scenes, and so on, with any hint of character development drowned out by dry exposition that adds nothing we don't already know about the situation, leaving viewers with no one to connect with or care about, even during moments that feign emotional or narrative depth before reverting to formula. Even worse is the shockingly cheap filmmaking itself, as Middle employs a jarring, shaky cam style that resembles a bargain bin found footage film like The Devil Inside, complete with awkward zoom-ins and odd camera placements that feel completely out of place for a 1920s setting. And the low budget is painfully apparent not only in the visuals but also in production continuity, where scenes appear to have been hastily rewritten due to unavailable locations. Like one moment where Pacino was suddenly in Stevens' church, despite earlier dialogue stating he's to be picked up at the train station, dialogue that isn't even changed to reflect the inconsistency. This kind of sloppiness raises the question of whether the film suffers more from budget constraints or sheer laziness. But either way, it's embarrassing, especially with actors like Al Pacino and Dan Stevens on board, who are given so little to work with that their presence adds nothing. Seriously, these roles could have been played by almost anyone with the same results. There's honestly little else to say about the half-star The Ritual, for it is simply a string of overused exorcism tropes featuring empty characters in a visually dismal package that lacks scares, intrigue, or even the campy charm that sometimes redeems weaker horror outings, making it one of the dullest examples in recent memory, for it's neither scary nor interesting, and it certainly doesn't deserve the dignity of a pun about possession or holy water. It really is that lifeless. Visit the Film Feeder website to read my more detailed review, but for now, thanks for watching, please like and subscribe for more reviews, and I'll see you next time.